Welcome to a new video. We're back on a bank, and today you join me doing a very short session. And guess what? We've got wobbly water. Yes, loads of places have frozen recently and are unfishable, but luckily this place is wobbly and fishable, and actually it's completely ice free. We've got a lovely bit of mild weather coming through this week, so hopefully the fish react to that and switch on. I've only got a very short session. I've got 2 hours before heading off for a night shift to try and see if I can make it happen today. So I need to crack on and get it done pretty sharpish. Now, I've had a bit of a walk around already. I've not seen anything show. There is another guy fishing. He is over on that bank over there, and yeah, the rest of the lake is free of anglers, but I've not seen any fish show to go on. So I'm going to get into a swim which I have caught from previously in conditions like this and hope for the best, if I'm honest. But yeah, anyway, let's crack on. Let's get some rods out in the pond and let's see if we can catch a winter carp. Right, rod one going out then. Today I am on solid bags. Just got a little pink wafter in this one of the bug flavours, and I'm going to send it across to the tree opposite me. I'm going to flick it across. I've clipped it so I don't go too far. Right, rod number 2 is again a solid bag. Got a little yellow wafter in this one, again in the bug flavour combo, and this one's just going to go out in front of me basically into the open water. Currently using the unhooking mat as a back rod rest. Should have brought my little pod. Well, the rods are in the wet stuff then, and we are fishing. So I've decided to go with solid bags today, and the main reason for that is we've had loads of cold weather recently, and the water temperature is probably pretty cold. And I would imagine the fish are not massively up for a big feed up. Even though we've got a bit of mild weather coming in, that doesn't necessarily mean the fish are going to get their heads down. It's going to take them a lot of time to adjust to that kind of weather change. And for me, I always find early in the year, January, February, sometimes even March, solid bags I think are an absolute brilliant tactic. I think you don't want to be putting a lot of bait in. You're trying to get maximum attraction and sort of as little food as possible to try and just get that bite. You know, if your goal is just to catch a fish, you don't want to feed them, so the less bait you're going to put in at this time of year, I think the better. So I always tend to switch to solid bags early in the year. It's done me well in the past. It's a nice simple tactic, and it gets loads of attraction out in the water around your hook bait, which is perfect when the conditions are a little bit pants and the fish are a little bit less likely to react. So anyway, I've got one rod out to the right towards a lovely overhanging bush. It's actually like a little collection of bushes all together. It creates a nice little feature, loads of cover under there. The fish do hold up under it quite a bit, and it's kind of a known area to target on here. And then the left rod has just got out into open water where it's a little bit deeper, and I think potentially the fish could shoal up in that zone. Both areas I've caught from at this time of year in the past, so that's really why I've got on here, because I've not seen any fish showing. So I've just gone off of previous sessions, previous form, and hopefully it comes good. So you know what, as always, it's time to get the kettle on. I've got the rods out now. I'm happy. I'm going to just leave them for the time being. I'm going to dig the kettle out, get a coffee on, and chill out for the next hour, and hopefully before we have to go home, one of the rods rattles off. coffee update time then. I've managed to make myself a coffee and I've just sat in a chair now watching the water, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about sort of fish location and watercraft. Now, in the winter, it really does sort of pay dividends if you can locate a fish, and location is even more important. And the reason for that is basically in the summer months, or the warmer conditions or the warmer months, the fish are more active. You know, they're moving around, they're eating a lot more, they're moving around in little pods a lot of the time, can be spread around the lake, so there's normally the chance of finding a group of fish or finding something to fish to. But in the winter months, the fish are a lot slower. They tend to hold up in specific areas where they all feel quite comfortable, and it tends to be an area which either offers them some kind of sanctuary, some kind of cover over the heads like snags or trees. It might be a change in water depth, like a depression in the lake bed, which offers them that like comfort level, or maybe a slight change in temperature. And they do tend to shoal up in sort of very confined areas, and if you can find them, then that can really turn around a session or even a winter's fishing, if you can find where they're holding up. But what I would say is you want to react to anything you can see. So if you're sat watching the lake and you see something and think, oh, that could have been a fish, could have been a carp, then react to it, put a rod to it, because at this time of year, any small little bit of information you can find could be a bite. And if you're not too sure what you're looking for, but you think something looks interesting, maybe you see a little bit of water movement and you think, oh, I wonder if that was a fish, just put a rod to it, because for all you know, if you get a bite, it gives you that bit of information then to move forward with, so that you know if you see that again, that's worth casting a rod at. You know, a lot of the watercraft I've learned has come through, you know, trial and error. You know, I've seen something, thought that might be a fish, put a rod in it, and bang, I've had a bite, happy days. Or I might have done it on another occasion and nothing's happened and thought that clearly was nothing, I was imagining it. But you kind of react to what you see, and the more you react to something, the more you build up a picture and understand what's going on in front of you, and you can carry that information to other waters, and you can obviously build up a decent level of watercraft. So I would always say, if you see something, react to it. It could be anything: water movement, the bird spooking, bubbles, coloration in the water, even a fish sort of sticking its head out, to any sort of indication which you might think's a fish, then just react to it, put a rod on it, and you never know, it might produce a bite. So that's what I would always recommend, especially in the winter, because it's a lot harder to get the bites. So you want to react to anything you see, because like I said, it could be that thing that changes your session or even your winter's fishing around. So anyway, I'm going to polish off the rest of my coffee, continue to watch the water, and hopefully one of the rods goes off, or at least see something to chuck a rod at. Right, well, I thought I'd just give you a bit of an overview of my solid bag setup. Now, I'm not going to do a how-to, I just want to literally show you what I'm using, just to give you an idea in case you're wondering. Now, at this time of year, and actually most of the year, I use the smallest bags I can get hold of, and those tend to be the Corda extra small solid bags. Now, I do sometimes go up to a small, more so in the warmer months when I want to put a little bit more food out there, but this time of year I just want a really small bag, just to offer a little bit of attraction around the hook bait. And when they're tied up, they look like this. So yes, quite a small little bag, but just a lovely little parcel of food for those carp to come and home in on. Now, the hook baits, I use some DNA wafters. These are the half tones. I've got a few in there, different colours. They're all in the bug flavour combo, and I just sort of chop and change depending on the venue or the situation, and to see if one works better than the other. But yeah, that is my hook bait. It's normally just a basic wafter in there. Keep it nice and simple. The actual mix itself, I keep in an EVA bag. That keeps it all nice and dry. Obviously, you don't want your solid bag mix getting wet. And it's really simple. All I've got in there is some of the DNA mini cray mix, and then I've got a little sprinkling of the maxi cray mix, which is basically a slightly larger pellet. Now, They're both in the crayfish flavour, and it's very pungent. It absolutely stinks, and it really does sort of bring the fish down onto the rig itself. So yeah, absolutely love that combo. But you can use loads of different things in solid bags, but I've always found pellets always seem to work the best wherever I go, and they're nice and simple, and it's not much messing around. So I like to keep it as simple as possible. Now, just in terms of the actual lead setup, I tend to go for a 3.5 ounce lead, depending on where I'm going. Now today I'm fishing with my lighter rod, so I don't want to overgun them, so I'm actually using my little 3 ounce setup. So I've got some little 3 ounce leads on here, and those attached to a soft boom section, which is from Gemini, and then the boom is actually made out of fluorocarbon, and it's got a loop fused into the end, which means I can tie a large loop in the end of my main line, and then I can just attach them loop to loop fashion, so I can have loads of these tied up ready to go. And when I need to recharge them, I just take the old one off, loop on the other one, and send it out to the pond. So yeah, I'm sure you've seen all that before, but I just thought I'd show you. That's my setup for today, and that's what I use, generally speaking, for most of my solid bag fishing. So unfortunately, it's not happening at the moment. Definitely got a few factors against me today, but normally that will produce a bite, and it is a very, very confident tactic to pretty much go anywhere. So yeah, if you haven't used solid bags, I would highly recommend getting yourself a few bits, tying them up, having a little go. There's loads of how-tos out there of how to do them, so I don't need to tell you how to tie them up, but go out there, have a little look at it all, and take them out, give it a go, see if you can catch a few fish on them. Wow, I can't believe it, but I've actually just seen a fish stick its head out. Now, it was a bit further over than where my left rod was, towards the far bank more, but luckily there's no one over there, so I've quickly whipped in the left rod and I've sent it over there. I had a spare bag tied up, so I have quickly just sort of took the old one off, put a new one on, sent it over there, and hopefully it's going to result in a bite. And that is one of the great things about solid bags, is you can quickly change them, put a new one on, and send them out, and it does give you such a good presentation that there's every chance that's going to go off now. So yeah, the best thing I've seen since I've been here. Obviously it's only a short session, only been fishing for a couple of hours if that, and it's the first fish I've seen, but you've got to react to these things, you've got to try and make it happen, and yeah, that's exactly what I've done. Now normally I would film it, but because I haven't got very long, I've literally got about 15 minutes until I'm gonna have to pack down, I just thought I'd better get it out there quickly. So yeah, it's out there, it's fishing, it's on fish, an active fish as well, so let's hope it goes rattling off. But I'm going to actually pack down the brew kit now, get it in the bag, try and sort my swim out, and try and make the most of the time I've got now, fish as late as I can up until closing time, and yeah, let's just hope it goes rattling. Well, happy days. The rod that I just recast, that left hand rod that I recast towards that shoving fish, has literally just gone off, and it just shows you how important it is to react to what you see. Absolute mega that is. That has literally been out there for probably 5 minutes. I was just tidying up some of the kit. I was actually putting the solid bag stuff back in the bag in my rucksack, and the rod is just ripped off, and weirdly the fish has swam straight at me and is now under my feet. So it looks like a little common. It's not a big fish at all, but in conditions like today, it's been really slow. It is nice to get a bite, and it just shows you how important it can be to react to anything you see. And he's already coming in to the net, but yeah, what an absolute result that is. So well chuffed that I recast that rod, and clearly that fish was active, was obviously moving around. And I think that bait has probably just dropped straight in front of it. It's had a little look around and it's nailed it. And it just shows the solid bags are such a deadly, deadly tactic that even on a day like today where the conditions are just rubbish really. I mean, the weather is better, but the past few days has been so cold. The water temperature is freezing. It just shows it can really make a difference. And yeah, the old solid bag doing the business. So this is the first carp of 2025. Hopefully we get it in the net. It's only a little one, so I don't know if I'm going to bother showing it up to the main camera, but it is nice to have had a bite. So anyway, let's see if we can get him in. Come on, here he goes, here he goes, here he goes. No, no, he's not having any of it. Can we get him in that net? Can we get him in that net? Yes, go on. Get in there. Well, he is very much a small little common. That is probably about £5. Absolutely nailed on the yellow wafter in the solid bag, that one. I am not going to lift him out for the main camera because I have got to go home soon, so I'm going to just unhook him and slip him back. But what a lovely little result that is. First carp of 2025. A little common in his winter colours, but I am going to let him go on his way. Look, come over here, mate. Right, just let him go on his way. Go on, off you go. That is freezing. Oh, happy days. Right, well, I'm back at the van. That's the end of the session, but what an absolute result that was. The solid bag did the business and produced that fish. First carp of 2025. Absolutely chuffed. Only a little one, but it was nice to get a rattle on such a short session, and it just shows how effective those solid bags are. In really, really tough conditions, it still produced the goods. So I definitely recommend, if you don't use them, get on them and give them a go. But anyway, I need to go to work, so it is time to head off. Now, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button and show some love. We do competitions every month, so there's always a chance to get your hands on some freebies too. And also, if you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up and show some appreciation. But I'm going to head off now, so if you're getting out, be lucky, and I'll see you next week at 6:30 for another video. Until then, get out there and enjoy it. See you next week. Oh, we just seen a roach roll. Let's get a rod in it. Yeah, not after them today.